It is a hot morning in late Eridus, harvest time, in the city of West Crown, in the country of Cheliax. Below us lays West Crown, a city alongside the river Adivian, where it opens out into the inner sea. West Crown is a beautiful city, but is but a specter of its former glory. We go to Rego Cater, the northernmost sector of West Crown, and the most ruinous. In fact, its southern walls that border the Rego Cater and the Rego Crua, manned by a special form of Datari known as the Run Datari, the Ruin Guards. But a new gate has opened up, allowing free passage between the civilized, air quotes, part of the city and the uncivilized sector of the city. As we follow along a newly refurbished road, we head straight into what a average citizen or a Wizcrani would call an overgrown neighborhood. But to the special few who understand the true beauty of the Ramble Gardens, this is a return to what was, a return to what should be, where nature has taken priority. The Ramble Gardens are a miniature wilderness within this urban landscape. Viras, or manors, of West Crown, long crumbling in the last century since being abandoned. The plants and trees growing above these large houses with open holes in walls, smashed windows. And rustling through the dark, thick underbrush, we see an orc. Evan, can you please describe Nikau for us?
Yeah, sure. So you see a large, strong orc figure pushing a food cart, 6'5", dark eyes, and dressed in loose clothing, robes, leafy like shoulder pauldrons, like a short cape over his shoulders. You see tattoos on their dark skin, very muscular. It's got his almost like a mohawk, but kind of plaited back. Quite clean. I don't think he's got a beard. I think he's got he's got like a little short, neat beard. He carries himself purposefully. He's got a warm smile. There's a warmth about his face, and stands tall. He's accompanied by a small figure as well. Little mushroom person, tiny. Probably sits on just on the edge of the food cart, just bouncing along, little legs dangling over the edge. The food cart is heavily laden. It's got loads of produce on it, and they're just bumping on down the road, talking to each other. Fugo, do you know what? When I was back in the jungle, I didn't see buildings just springing up out of nowhere. But when you're here, and you don't look after anything, plants come springing back. So I think what's happening up here in this area is how it should be. Plants are coming back. What do you think?
Oh, geez, Nikau, I'm so excited to come back and visit the Leshy community.
No, I hate this. They're talking with one another.
Yeah.
Nikau, do you really think the Leshies are gonna buy from your food cart?
Yeah, of course they're gonna. Why wouldn't they? They need to eat, don't? Wait, do they need it? Yeah, I don't know. You tell me.
I don't eat that stuff.
Oh no! Oh, we've just made their trip all that way through Krua, Screeper, and wait, but Vidi's here. Vidi needs to eat. They're human, right?
Well, gee, yeah, I guess there might be some other... I've heard that the last time we were here, we saw Vidi and at least one other human, so maybe more people are coming to visit.
Yeah, no, look, honestly, if people, when they see the food cart bumbling along, they just come, it attracts people, you know? People, they're hungry. They're always hungry. They're going to see some fresh food. They'll just come out of their houses. You don't know, it might not be Leshies, but it could be, I know there's some bad types in these areas as well. They might need food. Although, I'm not sure how I feel about selling to those bad people.
The speckled tiny mushroom figure sort of looks around at the nearby houses, which are sort of looming emptily under the shadows of the canopy that is reaching far overhead this neighborhood. And the wagon that you're pulling bumps over some large roots that have sort of grown up in the middle of the pathway.
You've got me worried now, actually, because if this cart's going to be full of stuff and those bad people come, they might not want to buy it. They might just want to take it. Hey, let's go visit the Leshies quickly, eh? And then maybe we can get out of here. Maybe we can head back and I can get rid of some of this produce a little bit further south. There was some fat Tatari, I reckon they'd buy up loads of it.
Fugo nods their mushroom cap head, and the pace quickly picks up. A large branch gets pushed out of the way, and we step into the flourishing Leshy community of the Ramble Gardens.
Oh, yes, this is it. This is like paradise in here.
It is a small grove that opens into what once was the back gardens of a large manor house. But the manor house now is overgrown with ivy and has been converted into homes, apartments for the Leshies who have decided to take up this place. We see a variety of Leshy people here. Many other fungus Leshies, various small mushroom people, bigger than Fugo, but some also the same size as Fugo. We also see a small contingent of gourd Leshies who, what are, I don't know, pumpkin heads? What kind of gourds grow?
Like butternuts.
We see a small group of Leshies with butternut squash heads and these sort of dark, empty eyes, shaking their heads as they speak to one another animatedly. But the majority of Leshies that have taken up this space in the Ramble Gardens are leaf Leshies. Leshies made up of the various leaves of the trees that have overpowered this neighborhood. This is the Arboretum. And indeed, we do see mingling amongst the dozens of Leshy people in this almost market square of sorts. A few taller folk, fleshy folk, one might say. 2 or 3 humans and a halfling wandering around. As they look up, they see you, and you can tell that the fleshy folk, their eyes light up as they see your cart. And this is the first time you're bringing your cart to the Arboretum, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. One human in particular, a human man of average height, well-defined muscles, with tanned olive skin tone and dark green hair comes over to you. As he walks through the sunlight dappling through the grove, you can see dark brown roots growing in. It's time for him to recolor his hair. He does have a hatchet at his side, but you recognize him, of course, as Viti. And Viti says, "Hi! Good morning!"
Oh, Viti! Good morning. I'm so happy to see you. I thought I was gonna struggle to move on some of this delicious produce, but you're here and you're always hungry.
I'm definitely hungry, and how could I not buy some food from the best preparer of vegetarian, vegan, he holds up a finger, delicacies in West Crown?
Well, exactly. You won't find any finer vegan chef in the city, I might add. And I've prepared some special things with a lot of protein because I know you like to look after yourself. And he kind of slaps him on the arm and sort of like grabs him like sort of like on the arms, like, gotta keep these muscles fed, eh?
It's true. The dead wood isn't going to clear itself.
All right, let me show you what I've got.
Cool. So him and a few of the other humans and the halfling person come over and maybe begin buying some food from you, and we have a good half hour probably of cooking up grub. The other leshies come over as well.
Yeah.
Curious, saying hello. We can see Fugo definitely enjoying themselves, talking with other leshies.
I see that. I've actually got a few kind of like juices prepared. I haven't got food necessarily for leshy folk, but I have got some like smoothies, which are very nutrient rich, a lot of nitrogen, which I don't know. This is like an experiment of Nikau's because he wants to sort of branch out his market base, his client base. So he's trialing. He's spoken with Fugo. He's like, doesn't eat food, but they do draw up moisture, which needs nutrient. That's where they get a lot of nutrients from. And I'm like, well, maybe I could come up with a little smoothie that's nutrient rich. Maybe they could either drink it or dip a tendril in it. I'm not sure, but I'm willing to try this new kind of like avenue.
I think the other mushroom leshies probably aren't interested because they do rely on decaying matter too. So they probably have like compost heaps where they count as their food piles.
They lounge on their compost heaps on the chaise lounge of rotting matter. Can you imagine the decay, the parties that they have? Rot party.
There's probably like a nearby manor where they've built that up because it does tend to be a bit stinky. But the leaf leshies and the gourd, the butternut leshies, we're going to call them, I would definitely, at least one or two would be curious enough to try out your smoothies. And it's interesting, they probably take it, throw it, dump it on the ground at their feet, and just like promptly start stomping their little leshy toes into it.
Okay. Whoa, okay, you're gonna... A lot of it's going to seep away, but I guess if that's how you do it, that's fine. That's
they
fine.
look up like...
Oh,
imagine like little...
Yatatata.
little rattles from them, the butternut ones especially.
Splashing in puddles of smoothie. Okay, well, yeah, that's okay. I'll make note of that. Maybe next time I might make a I don't know, like some kind of like lily pad kind of like fluorine patch, which I can pour it onto, and they can just stand in it instead of most of it seeping into the ground immediately. Good. Makes notes. He makes little notes in a little. He's got like a recipe book / journal, which he's constantly jotting things into to keep his experiments and his balances, I guess, as well. I'm gonna say, when I got into the Arboretum, I would have, because the food cart is set up for traveling, but once I'm at somewhere, it unfolds into like the little kind of shop. So it's got like these kind of like poles that come up as masts, and then I pin out a kind of like tent, kind of like awning across the top of it, so that when I'm doing like business or cooking or selling food or drinks or whatever, trading, it shades people, but if it's raining, it also keeps them dry. So it becomes like a tented little food shop underneath it.
Wonderful. Especially even though the Arboretum is nice and cool and shaded, in this section, as I mentioned, it sort of opens up and the hot summer sun is baking down. So people are, and some of the leshies for sure are enjoying the protection your shade offers.
Yeah, and the actual the tent itself is a patchwork of colours. So if it's a bright sunny day, it's quite colourful under there, different shades. It's fun. It looks like it's a good time.
As the food frenzy begins to die down around your cart, two littler ivy leaf fleshies run up, shouting, waddling frantically, and shouting,
Viddy, Viddy, Viddy.
as they approach the human man with green hair. Whoa, little ones, calm down. What is it? What's wrong?
It's Tingle. Tingle, they've gone missing, or they were captured. We don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? Please breathe. What is it? Carbon dioxide in, oxygen out. And they sort of like stand in the sunlight and photosynthesize for a moment.
Tingle, we were exploring deeper in the Ramble Gardens towards the north when this big metal cage came down. Tingle was inside of it, and then it quickly began being pulled away. We couldn't do anything. We ran away.
What's going on?
Viddy looks at you. A metal cage. That's strange. The Ramble Gardens are not without their dangers. Some wild fae who are overprotective of their sanctuaries. Some dangerous plants. I even had to deal with a yellow musk creeper once. But this sounds like the work of people.
Yeah, this is people business. Metal cages, people. I hate it. I hate the sound of that.
Oh, gee, Nikau. We probably should help VT.
Fugo looks up at you.
Yeah, already while you're saying that, I'm like, I just need to pack up the cart, everybody. If you could just stand back a bit. All comes folding down. And as it's folded down into its smallest traveling state, the kind of like the handles where you go to pick up, lift it up, he sort of lifts underneath that, and just from one side pulls out a spear, and from the other side pulls out a couple of javelins, and his pack slings his pack on, javelins across his back, spear in hand. I was like, let's get Tittle back. Metal cages.
You two stay here, little ones. You said north, correct? And they shake their little ivy heads. Then we will go. And Viti nods to you and begins leading you north out of the Arboretum and into the deeper, darker recesses of the Ramble Gardens.
Imagine that. Imagine just being playing around in your own home and being caged by some unknown assailant. People are the worst.
I agree, my friend, Viti says, his eyes trained on the ground, sort of like looking for tracks. You're trained in survival, right?
I was just opening my character sheet real quick. Yeah, I am super trained in survival. By super trained, I mean just trained, but it's a +7.
Okay, cool.
I would like to say that I am wielding a spear at this moment in my hands.
Yeah, Viti, hasn't drawn his hatchet, but his left hand is sort of sitting on the wooden haft of the hatchet, just in case like I said, there are dangers here, but usually the Leshies don't provoke the anger of the Fae, the Twigjacks primarily who live here, and whatever other strange plants might have grown up. There are, of course, shadow creatures here, just like in every other part of the city. But again, the Leshies have enough light around the Arboretum to protect themselves at night.
Yeah. How long have we got until night, actually? Because that might be a concern.
Well, plenty of time. If this is lunch, it's probably like 1 o'clock, and we know the sun sets at 8 p.m. So you've got 7 hours.
Good. Okay.
Which should hopefully be enough to get you back to Skripa. Rego Skripa.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I want to help or aid Vidi tracking, if that's possible.
Yeah, give me a survival check.
That is a 13.
You've got 2 hero points.
Yeah, no, I'm going to save those for now, the hero points. So he's probably doing a pretty good job.
Viti knows what he's looking for. You're used to tracking animals because from what I saw on your character sheet, you chose animal empathy rather than plant empathy. So yes, you're more used to tracking animals. Tracking plants is something that's not necessarily in your wheelhouse. But I think as you go along, Viti is pointing out, look here. And he points to where just like a singular ivy leaf is laying on the ground and like points around to the foliage surrounding it.
There's no ivy around here.
And so you realize you're sort of tracking these little like ivy tracks, like ivy shaped footprints in the soil.
Yeah.
Till eventually we come to a small grove and we can hear the chattering of 2 different voices sort of arguing with each other. Vidi holds a finger up to his mouth for silence and then like crouches down to some bushes and peers over, beckoning you to come with him.
As quietly as I can, I follow him, keep my eyes peeled.
The 3 of you come down to these bushes and look over, and in a just tiny clearing where some trees and bushes haven't taken up all the space, you see a small metal cage that it looks less like you recognize it's not necessarily a trap that fell. You would have had to actually go inside of it to trigger it. So maybe those Leshy children weren't necessarily...
Oh, I see what's going on here.
They weren't necessarily telling the full truth. But you do, inside, you do see young Tinel, the Ivy Leshy that was captured in there, looking very scared. Where 2 dark green-skinned goblins wearing leather armor and equipped with weapons and they've got these dark brown leather caps on. They're not even proper hats. They're just like pieces of leather that are laying over their football-shaped heads. I mean, it's technically alive, and we've eaten plants before. Yes, but the king doesn't like plants. The vegetables taste like dirt, he says. Oh, but I mean, look at it. It's got some, we could use it for herbs, I guess. And Tinel shakes their head.
No, I don't want to be an herb.
That was amazing. I don't want to be an herb. I'm like, to Vidi, dude, should we talk to those goblins and just try and persuade them not to? Because clearly Tinel's not food. And they're already pretty suspicious of Tittle not being food. We can just encourage them that Tittle is not food.
Vidi turns to you wide-eyed. I don't, almost like paralyzed with indecision here.
Look, leave it up to me. I know what to do. I'm gonna go talk them down. I've got this, okay? Just you back me up. If it goes wrong, then you know what to do, okay? You'll know when it goes wrong. All right. I'll put a hand on Vidi's shoulder and like, it's okay, okay? Just relax, keep a cool head, yeah? We'll be fine, all right? We're going to get this little lishy fella back.
He nods, shaking, trembling just a little bit, but seems to have calmed down.
Okay, right. I'm gonna stride out. I'm gonna put my spear I'm gonna put it away. I'm gonna step out, arms up wide, and go, whoa, fellas, what are you doing? You cannot eat that. You cannot eat him, or them.
They both
look,
jump up from where they are.
I don't mean any harm, okay? You obviously need to take some food back to your king, okay? I've got some food. That person there is not food. They're not a herb either. They would taste terrible. Your king would be extremely upset if you took them back. Okay, please, take some of my food. Okay, I've got plenty. It's my job. I'm a chef.
Okay, give me a diplomacy check.
I wish I had better diplomacy. And voila, that's a 16 rolled. Oh, on total. I've got 0 charisma. I should have more charisma.
As you step out of the bush, they've both drawn these weapons known as dog slicers.
Oh god!
They look like short swords with holes, in the blade. No, it's our herb. It's our herb. Yeah, no, you can't take our herb. Wait,
it's not a herb. I've got.
You
herbs.
have food. You have more food.
Yeah. I've got food. I'm a chef. I told you I was a chef. All right. I've got food. I've got herbs. I could make your king a fantastic meal. I don't want to. I mean, you'd have to pay me.
Yes. Okay. We'll give you this herb. One of the goblin with the deep voice says, and you get in cage.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
New chef servant for White Chin. Yes.
All right, yes, let's get this herb out. Let's get. Tunnel, get out of there. Tunnel, get out. I lift up the side.
Oh, the one with the deep voice holds up the dog slicer and goes to like some rope at his side. No, you're coming with us. And he steps forward. As he does, Vitit's kind of moving around in the bush. You see him moving towards the cage as the goblins step towards you. Let's roll initiative.
Okay.
But I'm going to give you a +2 circumstance bonus on this initiative because you were talking to them.
Okay. I've got 25 for initiative.
Okay, Nikau.
Yeah. Okay.
This should be balanced. It should be balanced.
Alrighty.
I cannot promise that things won't happen because you and I both have experience with bad things.
Okay. Right. I am going to. Oh, God, spells. This is new. This is so new. What is cornucopia? That sounds like a food creation kind of spell. Let's have a look. I said I put my spear away foolishly. Let's just quickly whip out needle darts, a cantrip. You shape 3 needles out of a piece of metal in your possession and send them flying in a tight group towards one target. So I've thought for flavor for this cantrip. Inside like my robes and sort of like around my belt are all sorts of bits of cutlery which I have accumulated from wherever I go. If I go to restaurants, or if I go to dinners, or if I go anywhere where food has been served, I will try and take some cutlery. So it might be a silver fork, or like some like an iron like knife or something like that. But most of my this cantrip is going to be powered by cutlery. Yeah, so I'm like, oh no, I'm not getting in your cage, all right? And you can put that slicer away, and you've made a terrible mistake. You could have just had some herbs and some food, but no. And he swooshes back his kind of like cloak, his leafy cloak, and as it flies back and goes into slow-mo, he grabs 2 forks and a knife, and they protrude from his massive fist like Wolverine claws, and just flings them across. And the spell, as soon as he pulls them out, they're they glow with a green primal light, and flies them across the short distance. That's a critical hit for a 27 total.
Describe your kill.
Oh my god. So yeah, the 2 forks are basically like at a diagonal line across from his face down, like into his neck and into his shoulder, like thud thud thud. It's like fork knife fork, just sticking into this goblin.
Falls to the ground.
Great death noise.
Bleeding. And dead. You have one more action.
I will draw my spear and just hold it pointing at him and say, "Don't do it. Don't even think about it."
No, this is the deep voice goblin. For election, the Goblin King! And with his dog slicer raised, he spends first action running towards you.
Okay, stride.
And second action, yes, will strike at you with the dog slicer.
Ooh,
hits
oh my
for
god.
24. The dog slicer slices across your chest for 2 points of damage.
Oh. And the normally calm
and then
looking
just
face.
slash.
Oh, again?
Second slash.
Got me again?
Hits again for a 20 and 1 point of damage. For the Goblin King! And we're back to you, Nikau.
Let's see what we do with the spear then.
That's what we're here to do.
Yeah. So this goblin's made me bleed twice, and not calm anymore. Diplomacy has failed, and I'm gonna have to unleash some rage on this creature. So I'm gonna attack it with my spear.
That's a hit.
That's
just
a hit?
barely.
Jeez.
Meets beats.
Okay. That 6.
Describe your kill.
So yeah, it's slash, and I draw my sword, my spear, and I'd already drawn it, and I just go straight down through the top of him, like skewer him into the ground. Ah! And a primal roar comes out of Nikau.
He tried to bring up that dog slicer. Exactly. Okay, cool.
And then I could I just boot him off my spear? Oh, jeez.
As soon as that combat began, it's over. Viti is kneeling down by the cage. Looks up. Oh, you killed them so quickly.
No, only you don't want to be in fights any longer than you have to. And unfortunately, I didn't want to fight at all, but it's happened. And we all live, and foolishly, they are now dead.
As you look down at them, you can see that painted on their leather armor, on the front are these like small, on their left, like over their hearts, is a small white symbol that looks like a W.
Hey, Viddy, have you ever seen this symbol before?
Can you roll society?
I can roll society. Roll a 17.
17. So, very nice. So you actually, you start putting together the pieces. They mentioned the Goblin King. One of them even said White Chin. As you're looking at this white W, it does sort of look like a goatee, but like very
White
stylized. You've heard the Leshies talk about a new territory near the northern wall of the Rego Cater, where goblins are coming up out of the sewers and staking out a new home for them. And some of the Leshies have talked about. So I think then Viti says, a few of the Leshies at the Arboretum were speaking about making a trip to White Chin's kingdom to try and strike up an alliance here in the Rego, but this wouldn't be a good start for a relationship, would it?
Absolutely not. What? So, whose idea was it to go and strike up an alliance? Some of the Leshies thought that was a good idea?
It was something that had been discussed amongst the Leshies because we've heard the rumors, but nothing was decided upon yet.
Yeah, I think we should probably take this information back to those Leshies, because if they are laying traps to catch Leshies and take them back to their king as food, that doesn't sound like an alliance. That sounds like a hostile takeover.
I don't want to be an herb.
Tanel is inside the cage crying.
I don't blame you, Tinel. No one wants to be in Herb. Well, you're not going to be. You're safe now. We're going to get you home, okay? Don't you worry. What were you doing up here anyway?
Viti opens up the cage and Tinel comes out as they explain that, like they said earlier, they were just exploring, playing.
How did you get stuck in this cage, though, if you were just exploring? I mean, did you explore inside a cage?
I mean, well, yes.
That's just silly. You shouldn't do that.
I was
What did
curious.
they put in there? Was it like, was there something shiny?
And the other Ivies dared me. They dared me to go in.
Okay.
There's also a piece of meat in there. It looks like a basic sort of hunting trap.
Okay. Well, I'm carrying this. I'm gonna carry this back because this is evidence. All right. This is evidence of not an alliance.
We get back to the Arboretum, and the Leshies all crowd around young Tinel, hugging them and sort of patting their leafy back, letting them know it's okay and that they're safe again. And after you and Viti explain the situation, they sort of nod, but the mood has been soured here in the Arboretum. And it's time for outsiders to go home.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's us, right? Okay. Right. Well, we'll be on our way. You're welcome. But I'd like to say that before we go, don't be naive when making plans with some people you don't know. Okay, get to know them first, but people who are your friends will never try and trap you or make you herbs. All right. If me and Vidi weren't there,
A couple of butternuts are looking up at you and just sort of they all cock their heads to one side in unison as they're trying to understand what you're saying.
we'll be back again another time, so just look after yourselves, okay?
You and the rest of the fleshy people are leaving the Ramble Gardens. Viti says to you, well, Nikau, that was quite impressive back there. You've got more skills than just being a chef.
Well, yeah, that's true. I probably haven't. It's not something you would see every day, but I have travelled quite a distance from my homeland, and you've got to be able to look after yourself. So yeah, I hope you say impressed, but also I hope that doesn't change the way you feel, because it's a part of me that I don't like to let out.
No. If you weren't there, I don't know what would have happened.
Well, we don't need to think about that because I was there, and and everything worked out all right. So let's, we should probably. Do you want to talk about this again, or about the Rambling Gardens? Because, I don't know. I don't feel that the people there aren't safe.
Actually, I figured I owe you a drink. Would you mind joining me?
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping to go for a drink. After after a fight. It's a bit cliche, but no, I could go for a drink. Yeah.
I know a great tavern, and it's on your way back home in Regos Kripa. Do you know Vizio's?
Oh, yeah, I know Vizio's.
All right. And he sort of takes up the other side of your food cart, and the three of you begin making your way south through the city to Vizio's tavern.
Fantastic. Yeah. As we go back, I would probably start doing the old shouting, nutritious smoothies for sale, fresh produce, end of the day sale, everything's gotta go. I don't charge any less, but it always gets them in, eh?
Earn income.
Yeah, here we go. I've got a job.
Make a cooking lore check.
Oh, I've got that cooking lore. That is a 17.
Very nice. So by the time you get down to Vizio's Tavern in the early afternoon, you've earned about 3 silver. Let's say 4 silver, actually.
Yes, 4 silver. Oh, would there have been any loot on those goblins?
Yes. You want me to add those to your character sheet?
Please, if you would. I'm a big subscriber to looting bodies.
Dog slicer, short bow, leather armor, and arrows. They didn't have any money.
I would take...
The short bow's worth 3 gold.
Yeah, I would take the short bows and the arrows. And probably the dog slicers as well, because I can smash them up for metal bits for my needle darts.
But not their leather armor.
But not the leather armor. At least you can sell stuff like that. I don't know. Is that something you can do?
You can. I mean, you throw it all in the cart.
Yeah, I've got a cart. Yeah, just throw it all on there.
Because you sell it for half. So along the way, we can...
I'm all about that side hustle.
So great. Now I'm going to move all of that back into your inventory.
Oh, I'm rich. Hey, Vidi, I'll get this round.
Cool. Yeah, and you approach Vizio's Tavern, and that's where we'll end for today.
Vizio's. We walk into Vizio's. We've got Fugo on my shoulder, and side by side with Vidi, and the proprietor, I guess, will be like, "Hey, it's Nikau." Tumble Through presents Twilight's Edge, a Pathfinder 2e actual play of the Council of Thieves adventure path, converted from Pathfinder 1e. Tumble Through uses trademarks and/or copyrights owned by Paizo Inc., used under Paizo's fan content policy, paizo.com/licenses/fan content. Tumble Through is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com.